Denny, have you had, I mean, you're so busy, you're doing 1,000 different things. I know you watch the Jaguars like we do on Sunday, but have you had time to look at enough of the film and just what's going wrong from your perspective on the offense, where the majority of the blame lies and why it can't get operating? And I know the blame is spread out. I get that, but where is it? Where is that chain that is making it impossible for anything to happen, if there is one?
I think there's so much happening right now. I did go back because I was curious after that game.
But how do you get worse as you? Anyway, explain.
Well, I also saw a stat yesterday. I don't know if y'all saw this about first target, first read EPA, and Trevor is like the outlier. He's got the lowest negative EPA, but he hits his primary target the most, meaning he doesn't get deeper into his reads. Now, that there could be a million reasons for that. There could be, not great offensive line, which I think is the case. But the thing that I watch that I get frustrated about is they wanted to keep Ridley last year, and then they went and first-round pick, used at receiver. They went and got, Gabe Davis. And so I thought coming out that they had like not necessarily this high level, but Rams-Patriots approach of we've got a franchise quarterback. We've got all these. So we're going to take some shots. We're going to get down the field. That's going to be our running game. They're not running that offense at all. Like, they're running an offense that every other team runs that relies on push up front, they're not doing what I thought they were built to do. So that could be on me. Maybe I looked at it wrong. But if you weren't built to do that, then why didn't you spend the money in the trenches? Right? And so I think this thing goes so many levels. Last year, it looked like, Ridley was taking too long, or he was running the wrong routes. But it looks the same now.
Right.
So is it the design of the offense? The play calling is one thing, but, man, like, all 11's got to believe in what you're doing. And I'm not calling out the coaches, but to me, it looks like they're playing each play in itself.
Sometimes appearances aren't reality. It seems to me watching a game, though, Dan and I have talked about this, and maybe this is the frustrations of a fan, but I think stats would back this up. I feel like when the other team has the ball and they run a passing play, where the quarterback throws the ball is usually to a guy who's got a foot or two of separation.
Yep.
And I feel like more often than not, when we try that same play, it's hip on hip, shoulder on shoulder, and the window is, 9 square feet smaller. And I'm not saying this is an excuse. I'm saying it to get the offense going, to get yards after the catch. I mean, there's a lot. But
I think that's that stat as well, right?
Okay. Is that what that means?
That guy's not open to that. There's layers to that because is he not open because you're late?
Yeah.
Is he not open because he's not creating separation?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Is he not open because you've got such big tendencies that they kind of know what you're doing? Like, there's a million different reasons why that could be. But I'm with you. You've got all this talent, and it doesn't seem
feels
like
the playbook's gotten stale. If something's not working, you can't keep doing it. Then it's time to just flush it all.
It's the same crap.
Great coaches would flush a playbook after these 3 weeks and start over. It's happened in the past.
You got nothing to lose.
Yeah.
I have this stat. Speaking of stats, we like to throw, and this one did not look favorable towards us. Percentage of pass attempts.
Name is Hick, and he's the reason you listen.
Wow.
Just kidding, Jeff.
Balls gets a freebie. Bleep you, Balls.
Thank you. Thank you very much, E. Percentage of pass attempts that are incomplete due to quarterback inaccuracy.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
That's a bad one.
That's a bad one.
Yeah.
And Indy and Miami are at 18%, and it's your guy, AR. He's, on the job training. Miami, who knows who's playing quarterback now, but it's 16% is Jax.
Yeah, that means you're missing 16% of your open targets. Yep. And when you combine
He's not playing confidently for sure. You can see that on Monday night. There's not that I'm going to rip that interception.
The one
Guidey.
Yeah.
Guidey.
I'm not taking. Who was tied with Indy?
Miami.
Okay, so you take those two, and I'm not sticking up for Ann on this.
Yeah.
They're throwing the ball downfield.
Also true.
They're throwing the ball 20, 30, 40 yards downfield. Mm-hmm. They're going to have a higher percentage.
Fair.
Right? What concerns me here is this percentage is like 10 yards and in.
Yeah.
And I think, again, like, what are they defining as open, too?
Yeah.
And
also
it's part
true.
of,
There's a million you can tear apart stats, but
he's got to play better.
Just watch
period.
That's 1,000%.
You can tell. We can tell.
Here's the difference.
Yeah.
He's not the reason they're losing, but he's not a reason they're winning.
That's right.
And that's what the great ones are. I mean, there's plenty of quarterbacks that if everything's perfect, they can be good enough to keep you alive. Maybe not win a Super Bowl, but to keep you alive. We haven't been that. Is Cliff Kingsbury the offensive coordinator in Washington?
Yes.
Yeah, that guy needs to go be a coach somewhere, or maybe back in college, or because what he has done with Jaden Daniels in 3 weeks is amazing. And to go on the road, Cincinnati did not stop the Washington offense one time all night. Did you know that?
No.
Every single time they had the ball until the last one, until they either
I didn't even realize that was
punted,
at
took a knee.
Cincy.
That game was in Cincinnati.
Wow.
I'd like you to stop the talk about Cliff Kingsbury, kind of keep him on the down low.
Yeah. That's a
Coming to
Gator name.
Gainesville.
Yeah, that is a Gator name. No, I've seen that, and I would be all in favor of that. But
he's a guy though.
He
likes
did this
to throw
with
it around.
Kyler. Remember how good Kyler was under him?
Now, on the side note, Cliff is a little, Cliff did date your girl.
Okay, Holly Saunders.
Yeah.
That'll make you a bit dumber for sure. But he's still good enough.
Back to football. You look at him. You look at guys like Joe Brady. You look at guys like they know what they have personnel wise.
Right.
Joe Brady has run 10 different offenses in 10 different years. Right. And same with Cliff. That's
a great coach. See, that's great coaching. Our guys are stuck on what
Green
they're doing.
Bay guy.
Oh yeah, LaFleur.
Green Bay guy loses his quarterback.
I'm so happy for Malik.
Runs the ball down the throat of Indy.
Yep.
Next week says, well, they're expecting us to run the ball. Well, this is your week, Malik.
Yep. I am
Roll
so
them
happy
out,
for Malik.
throw them, run them.
Maybe the best human being.
Every
on the planet,
time we
by the
have
way.
these conversations about other teams' successes, I always go back and really, at the end of the day, this better be the reason. But I always go back to our offensive line just must be terrible. You can't change philosophies if your O-line's if your O-line's number one in stuff rate and they're dead last in protecting the pass, it's hard to do it. It's hard to 1 week impose your will. Our O-line has got to, at some point in the big boy world of football, impose their will.
Hey, Mia here, and thanks so much for watching 1010XL Jaguars. For even more coverage of the Big Cats, be sure to subscribe to 1010XL Jaguars.